Hey, good day everyone, this is MM1 Bendita. I'm one of the private service recruiter of NRD New England here in upstate New York. So today I'm going to do a reserve presentation because usually we do it in the Navy Support Activity Saratoga Springs, New York every month. So usually over there we do it on the second week or third week of every month. But because of the situation right now that we're in, I decided to do a live Facebook video instead for the reserve presentation. So people get out of active duty for different reasons, right? So some people get out of active duty because they want to start like they want to go back to school for college. Example, they want to finish their degree, or they get out of active duty because they want to start their family or just focus on some stuff or other reasons. So today I'm just gonna go through the PowerPoint about the reserve presentation. So first would be, I'm just going to discuss the reserve background, requirements and eligibility, the programs that we have in the Navy Reserve, the locations of the NOSC, and the benefits if you decide to join the reserve right after active duty, or if you're officially out, you know, and then trying to come back in reserve. All right, so okay, what's the mission of Navy Reserve? So the mission of Navy Reserve is to provide strategic depth and deliver operational capabilities to the Navy and Marine Corps team and joint forces in times of peace and war. So basically, you know, the Navy Reserve augments the active duty if they have lack of manning in active duty. So the reserve personnel who are trained are the ones like providing support for the active duty side. And then what's the requirements? So you know, active duty, you're working full-time every day. But if you're gonna do reserve, of course, it's like 1 weekend a month commitment, and then the annual training for 2 weeks every year. Also, the same thing, you're gonna be eligible for retirement if you do the 20 years of qualifying service. So, but the difference, if you do the reserve, you're gonna get the retirement pay when you reach age 60. So, of course, like the requirement to be in the reserve, you need to have at least 50 points annually to get the retirement for qualifying. And then the point system in the reserve, every drill weekend is 4 drill cycles. So 1 drill cycle is equal to 1 point. So if you attend 1 weekend, you know, you're gonna get 4 points on that weekend. And then if you do the annual training, it's one points for every day. So it's like that, if you do like 12 days of active duty, it's, you know, 12 points if you do 12 days. And if you do more days during AT, you're gonna get more points for that towards your retirement. And of course, if you're just trying to join the reserve, they give you a giveaway of 15 points. And then if you do extra, example, if you're gonna participate in the funeral honors, if you do like non-resident training courses, they give you extra points based on your whatever points they allot for that. And of course, if you have a change of dependency, example, if you have a kid, if you have a medical issue, if you change your employment, you need to inform your reserve center because it affects your information in DEERS. So you need to inform them of what's going on. And the eligibility for reservists, of course, you must not have a dishonorable discharge. So if you have RE1, that's good because you're eligible for enlistment. If you have other RE code, example RE3, RE6, whatever, you might be eligible, you just need a waiver. So you need to process the waiver and make sure you know, you have the conditions waived first, and then you can apply afterwards. And then if for those people who are active duty and then we're trying to join right after active duty, we can use the separation physical, the one that they did before they get out, as long as it says qualified for service. So that would be good. If not, if you've been out for a while, example for 2 years, you will have to go back to MEPS for a physical exam. Okay. And then if you go back, of course, there's only limited jobs that we have available. And some of you might need to cross rate. So some of the rates require A school, and some of the other rates require you to not go back to A school. Some people, and then the A school length depends on the job. So the more technical job it is, the longer the A school. Example, if you pick like crypto jobs, if you pick like IT, it requires longer school. And then for engineering, which I went to, it's like 2 months long. So the programs that we have in the Navy Reserve, we have different programs. So we have NAVET, which is the Navy veteran. We have OSVET, which is other service veteran, and then PRISE-R, which means like your cross rating. So for NAVET programs, so you won't lose one pay grade until after 6 years. So if you get out after 6 and then to 8, you're gonna lose one pay grade on that time. And then if you get out over 10, you might not be eligible, but you can still apply for other programs like DPEP, so that you can apply for. And then if you're FROC, example, if you made first class, if you made chief, you can keep the pay grade if you join within 6 months with the approval of your enlisted community manager or ECM. And then for OSVET, you don't have to go back to boot camp. So some people are freaking out like, hey, am I going back to boot camp if I'm from the Army or if I'm from the Marine Corps? So if you're a prior service, you don't have to go back to boot camp. You just need to go back to MEPS if you need to, because the only branch of service that we kind of consider is the Marine Corps. So if you did a separation physical with the Marine Corps, it's equivalent to the Navy exam. But if you're from the Air Force or Army, you might need to go back to MEPS. Okay, so DPEP. So some people are been out like over 10 years. And then, some people are able to come back as long as they have the civilian experience that is related to the Navy rate. So, because I work with people who work in the state police for like 15 years. So they get out and then they went to MEPS for a physical exam. They passed the MEPS physical, and then based on their resume, they've been doing police service for 15 years. They have supervisory experience for like 10 years. They have all the certifications and license that they need. So they were able to come back in because of their qualification. And then Surgemain. So some people in Saratoga, in my area over here, most of the former Navy are engineering side. So most of them, if they get out of active duty, they prefer to stay engineering. So one of the units that allows people from engineering rate to come back in would be a Surgemain. So this Surgemain is, we have one here in Schenectady. So they do your drill weekend on the Reserve Center, and then they do the AT on the Naval Shipyards. So we have shipyards in different locations. So we have one in Maine, we have one in Virginia, we have one in Washington, and we have one in Hawaii. So most of the rates that are available to come back in or join the Surgemain will be engineering, of course. So it's like if you need to be a DC, EM, EN, ET, MM, MR, HT, to name some of few of them. And then of course Reserve Center. So where are the Reserve Centers over here? So what one is in Schenectady, the closest one that we have here in my area. There's also one in Burlington, Vermont. There's also one in Boston, in Quincy, and there's a lot of in Connecticut. So we have one in Plainville, we have one in Newport, in Rhode Island, and other more. Okay, so what's the difference between the active component and reserve component? So just to give a brief distinguishment. So active component is a full-time job, and reservist is part-time. So and then retirement, of course, if you retire from active duty, you can get it right after the 20 years. But if you do the reserve, you can still get it, but not after you reach 60, unless if you volunteer to for deployments within 90 days every year, so that you reduce your retirement age by 3 months. And then if you join the reserve, of course, you can still get the TRICARE benefits, Montgomery GI Bill Reserve Select if you do 6 years minimum. That's a requirement for that. And of course, primary short duty, because you're not deployed unless if you volunteer for deployment. And then the other benefits of being in the reserve would be USERRA. So if you get deployed, your employer can't discriminate you, because once you're back from deployment, they need you to they need to give you the same job that you have and all the opportunity that you have. If it's like when you stay in the job. And the pay in the reserve would be, if you do the 1 weekend, it's equivalent to like 4 days worth of active duty pay. So example, I'm E6 and I did over 6. So for just 2 days, you're gonna get $413 amount on your paycheck And then of course you're gonna get the money like most likely around 12 days or 14 days. It depends on how fast is your unit mustering you, because you know once they muster you in INSIPs, that's the time they can process the amount of payment. And I think that's it, guys. So that's the brief reserve presentation that we have. If you have questions, you know, you can comment or email me at cesar.bendita@navy.mil, or you can log into my YouTube channel and see some of my videos that I made for Navy Reserve. Thank you.